So we're going to start off by prepping the skin. I already applied an SPF and now I'm going to apply a face primer. This is one of my absolute favorites. I'd recommend putting some extra steps into your prepping routine now so that later your makeup's still going to look flawless. I'm using the POREFESSIONAL by Benefit on any areas where I need extra coverage. So like my nose area, around my cheeks, on any blemishes. And this will definitely give the makeup something to hold on to. I'm also going to prime my eyelids as well. Even though we're not applying eyeshadows now, it's for later. And to give my skin a glow, I'm going to use a skin illuminator just on the sides of my face. The forehead, the cheeks, and a little on the jawline. I don't like to use this on the T-zone. Taking a corrector, I'm just going to apply this on any redness that I might have on my skin. So any blemishes, particularly around the nose area, hormonally that's quite red for women. And this will just give a helping hand to our concealer and foundation. For concealer, I'm using the Naked Skin Concealer by Urban Decay and just apply this on any blemishes, anywhere where I want extra coverage like around the nose area and also around the eyes. Now I'm going around the eyes, not up towards the eyes, because when I take my damp sponge, I'm going to push the concealer upwards. And that way we don't end up with too much product around the delicate eye area. I'm going to use my high-end foundation because this lasts the longest I find, and it looks glowier and improves throughout the day. So I've applied that onto the skin and I'm using a damp sponge to blend it in. What I like to do with sponges is hold them at the side, put my index finger at the top, and then do a pressing and rolling motion over the skin, and this will blend it in really nicely for you. I don't want to overload the skin with powder, so I'm using a cream stick. Apply this to any areas that you'd usually use bronzer, and use your damp sponge then just to blend it out. And I'm also going to use a cream highlighter on the tops of the cheekbones, so once again, we don't have to overload the skin with powder. So apply this on the tops of the cheekbones and any areas around the face that you want to add some glow. Now we're going to go ahead and set the rest of the makeup using two different powders. But first of all, remove any creases on your skin, because otherwise you're just going to set the creases. And I'm using my F41 to apply some powder first of all. Taking a very finely milled face powder, you want to apply this on the eyes first of all, making sure that those creases have been removed because otherwise you'll just set them in place. You can apply this on blemishes, on your smile lines, around the nose area to start with. And then I'm going to use the L'Oreal True Match just to keep everything flawless and in place for the entire day. For the brows, I'm going to use two different brow colors. I'm going to use a lighter one on that intersection of the brows. And I just keep using the spoolie on the other side just to brush through the brows. From the arch outwards, I'm going to then use a darker shade, and this creates more of like an ombre finish. We're skipping eye makeup for now, so I'm just going to start by curling my lashes, applying lots of mascara, and I'm also going to apply some natural lashes. So these are by Kiss and they're called Lily Lashes. And I'm also going to use their matching glue and my tweezers to apply them. Give the lashes a nice squeeze with your eyelash curler. This will just give it a good lift. And typically on my waterline, I use a cream pencil to brighten up the eyes. For blush, I went for this matte peachy pink shade. This is a typical go-to look for me. And I just apply that on the sides of the cheeks and blend it upwards towards the ears. And then set everything in place using a setting spray. This will really lock in that makeup for us. For the lips, I decided to go for something more natural. So what I've done is I've taken a really full coverage liquid lipstick, but applied it with my fingertips in a pressing motion to create that sort of bitten, natural, sheer finish. And there you go. That is my typical everyday look. Now for the evening look, it's time to have a little bit of fun. So two things to remember here. One, if you have oily skin, you want to blot off any excess oils before you do the next step. However, for skin type 2, if you have dry skin like me, then you want to just skip that and go straight in with a fixing spray. This will give your skin that really nice glow back into it, and it'll also give our makeup something to hold on to. So taking that L'Oreal True Match mineral powder again, or any pressed powder that's slightly tinted, buff this over the skin. This will give you that fresh, I've just applied my foundation look. Now I'm going to contour with that bronzing shade. We used the cream shade already, now we're using the bronzer. Use a small concealer brush and blend this into the hollow of the cheeks. And I apply it quite heavily to start with, and then I blend it out using a larger brush. And you can also use this around the hairline to create that contour kind of bronzy effect. I'm going to bake now using a little bit more of that powder. Working this under the hollow of the cheeks to sharpen up our contour, and also underneath our eyes to catch any fallout for our eye makeup. Before we do the eyes, I'm just going to apply a plumper brow gel just to fix my brows up a little bit, because during the day they can kind of lose their shape. And if by magic, I already have one eye done. I'm going to start off with Lily, which is the lightest shade from this palette, and apply this underneath the brows. Do it quite heavily, you're almost like baking the brows. Using the medium brown shade from this palette, we're going to apply this into the crease. Then taking the shade beside it, which is a little bit lighter, you're going to work this a bit higher into the crease. Keeping your hand at eye level will just give you a better blend. And then taking the medium brown from the top row, we're going to blend this into the crease again. Taking the first shadow that we applied to sweep this all over the lid as a nice base to work with. But don't worry about getting it right down to the lashes. I'm also going to apply a little bit of that dark brown just on that outer corner and then sweep it into the crease. But the best part of this entire look is this gold cream eyeshadow. This is so gorgeous. Use a flat brush and start right by the lashes on the center of the lid and then work your way towards the inner corner. Then I'm going to take that highlighter shade right in the center and apply this over the top of the cream before it has time to set. Take your blending brush and just blend around the edges to keep it nice and soft. And then I'm going to apply the lighter highlighter shade on that inner corner. Line your lash line in any way that you want. I just went for a very simple black line. Apply lots of mascara. And I also applied an extra layer of lashes. I'm not sure whose lashes these are, but they're gorgeous. Dust off the majority of that powder and this should get rid of any fallout. If you want that drama, you're going to apply a black liner to the waterline. Then take the black shade and using a small detail brush, apply this right underneath the lashes as close as possible. And using a mixture of all the brown shades that we use, you're going to blend this underneath the eyes. Blend it as far down as you possibly want to, but just make sure the depth of the color is right by the lashes and then buffed out. Now we can move back onto the face. We're going to dust off that setting powder. Taking that spray again, we're going to spritz the skin, and while it's still wet, we're going to apply the highlighter. This is the same shade that we used on the lid, and it's a great way to bring your entire look together. Add a little bit more of that blush. You probably don't need too much. On the lips, I use that brow pencil just to line them. And then my favorite FLORMAR lipstick. Love this shade. And I went for a gloss because I don't usually wear gloss, but I thought I'd give it a try. And that is the finished look. I really hope that you guys will create one of them or both of them, and definitely tag me in the pictures if you do. And I'll see you next week. Happy weekend.